Japan's Yamagata Shinkansen has been using the E8 Series Shinkansen for over 20 years, with no new bullet trains on the line since. This changed, however, in March 2024, with the introduction of the brand new E8 Series Shinkansen on the line, which I'll be taking you inside today as we ride from the bustling Japanese capital Tokyo to the serene surroundings of the Yamagata Prefecture. Now join me as the journey continues. Konnichiwa and welcome to Tokyo Station for the first of many times on the channel. We stand in front of one of Japan's main hubs for Shinkansen and limited express services across the country. This is the Yasu or eastern entrance, the newer of the two with access to local and long distance bus services as well, with the older entrance from when the station first opened in 1914 standing on the Marunouchi or western side, which really is quite something to look at. Unlike many large stations elsewhere in the world, Tokyo Station has a rather complex interior that can be pretty easy to get lost in, though as with almost everything in Japan, it works well. The area I'm in now has easy access to the western Tokaido and Sanyo Shinkansen lines to Osaka and beyond. However, we'll be travelling east today on the Tohoku Shinkansen, which can be accessed from the well signposted section here, after making a quick stop for breakfast at the supermarket just outside of course. When I visited Japan, I mostly travelled using a Japan Rail Pass, which covers most journeys in the country, including my Shinkansen journey today, which needs to be entered through the ticket barriers like so. Towards the Marunouchi entrance of the station, there's an office wholly dedicated to tourists where you can not only purchase a pass, but also make reservations if you purchase using a third-party vendor, which I don't recommend, but I'll go into further details towards the end of the video. Further inside the station, you'll find plenty more shops, cafes and restaurants to prepare you for your onward journey, as well as plenty of references to everyone's favourite yellow electric mouse. Despite the connections to Tokyo's extensive metro and bus networks, an average of 500,000 people using the station a day and around 4,000 trains daily, Tokyo Station is only Eastern Japan's 5th busiest station and the 8th busiest in the country as a whole, the title of the busiest going to Shinjuku in the special wards of Tokyo, which is also the busiest station in the world. But anyway, our train today is the 0924 departure on platform 22, which is both Tsubasa 131 and Yamabiko 131, but we'll also see why in a moment once we get up to platform level. Currently on platform 22, an E8 Series Shinkansen can be seen awaiting departure on a Hayabusa service to Aomori. These trains are JR East's flagship, capable of 320 km/h in regular service, and are amongst the fastest passenger trains throughout Japan. Coupled to it is an E8 Series Mini-Shinkansen, also capable of 320 km/h and will separate from the E8 at Morioka to continue along the Akita Shinkansen as a Komachi service, one of two Mini-Shinkansen lines currently operational in Japan, with the other being the Yamagata Shinkansen, which our E8 will be operating today. Following the departure of the Hayabusa, the inbound Yamabiko and Tsubasa pair now arrive into platform 22. The E8 will be leaving us at Fukushima to continue north to Sendai, but my eyes were on the second set, which is Japan's newest Shinkansen, the E8 series. 15, originally 17 trains are being built by Hitachi and Kawasaki Heavy Industries for JR East's Yamagata Shinkansen services and entered service on 16th of March 2024 at the Japanese timetable change, and were ordered to replace the legacy E8 Series Shinkansen, which have been running on Mini-Shinkansen lines since 1999, themselves replacing the 400 series on the Yamagata Shinkansen dating from when the line first opened in 1992. Consequently, there's been a lot of fanfare about the new trains. These will be the first brand new trains on the line in 25 years, so there's plenty of excitement across the local communities within the Yamagata Prefecture and other local areas in eastern Japan that E8 series will serve. The design of the E8 series is inspired by the Yamagata Prefecture's rich landscape and the weaving together of nature and people. The exterior colour scheme is the same as their predecessor, the deep purple inspired by the mandarin duck, the orange being a mix of the safflower's red and orange, and the white invoking the snow of Mount Zhao. Tsubasa services normally terminate at Shinjo in the Yamagata Prefecture. However, severe flooding when I travelled means that trains will terminate one stop before at Oishida, though I'll be getting off at the line's original terminus of Yamagata several stops before. On the Tohoku Shinkansen, the E8 is able to reach 300 km per hour, which the previous E3s could not. This is thanks to its longer and more streamlined nose design for travel at higher speeds. Before we board, cleaners prepare both trains for service, including the rotation of the seats so they face the direction of travel, which is a great feature and one that is common on all mainline trains in Japan, regardless of class of travel. For today's ride, we'll be travelling in the green car, which is the Japan Railways name for first class. The cleaners are finally done now, so let's board our brand new bullet train. In the green car, seating is in a 2x2 configuration, which is pretty common on Japanese Shinkansen trains. The design of the seat covers here is inspired by the blue waters of the Mogami River, combined with the lush greenery covering Mount Gasan, and really looks the part. Today's route will see us head north along the Tohoku Shinkansen, with 2 stops at Omiya and Fukushima, where our train divides from the Yamabiko service. We'll then diverge onto the Yamagata Shinkansen with 1 intermediate stop at Yonezawa and finally arriving into Yamagata at around 11:15, taking 2 hours and 22 minutes to cover the 382 km distance. Not bad! As expected from Japanese railways, we leave Tokyo bang on time at 09:24. The first part of the journey involves passing through the urban megalopolis of Tokyo as we work our way out of the city. We also pass Ueno, a major railway station serving the Ueno district of Tokyo, containing attractions such as the Tokyo National Museum and Ueno Zoo. Also passing us is a 12-car E8 Series Shinkansen preparing to finish its journey into Tokyo. I will have a video on this fantastic train out soon on the brand new Hokuruko Shinkansen extension to Saruga, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. We eventually reach our first stop of Omiya just over 20 minutes later. This is JR East's busiest station in the Saitama Prefecture and the point where the Tohoku, Joetsu and Hokuruko Shinkansen lines split. You can also alight here for the new shuttle that serves the nearby JR East Railway Museum, which I highly recommend visiting if you're an enthusiast. It's now straight onto the high-speed portion of the Tohoku Shinkansen, which is where the train really gets to stretch its legs. The Tohoku Shinkansen is Japan's longest and fastest Shinkansen line, with a total length of 674.9 km and a maximum operating speed of 320 km per hour on the main stretch, though between Omiya and Utsunomiya the maximum speed is 275 km per hour, which we're doing close to now. As we run non-stop from Omiya to Fukushima, we pass many stations en route, such as Oyama here. Okay, now we've gotten settled into the trip, it's time to check out the interior of the brand new E8 series. Compared to other Japanese bullet trains I rode during my time here, I found the seats to be not as comfortable, despite having good ergonomics due to lack of padding. However, they were sufficient enough, especially for a 2-hour journey like mine. On the window side of the seat is a fold-away table, conveniently located inside the armrest. However, there is also a tray table at the back of the seat in front, if, like me, you want more free movement. This is also complemented by a cup holder, with it being shown here in both the closed and raised positions. Speaking of movement, if you want to adjust the seat's recline, you can do so on the aisle side using these buttons here. This is a good feature if you want to kick back and relax on this journey. Just next to this as well is a button to control the overhead reading light, which is at an appropriate brightness level and isn't too far a reach. I found legroom on the whole to be okay, however the seat base made it a bit more cramped than desired, as you can see. Each seat contains a Japanese style 2-pin power socket, though the layout of the socket either makes it difficult to get comfortable or prevents your neighbour from using theirs. Each seat pair has 2 retractable coat hooks, one on the back of the seat here and another just next to the window, which itself has a small space either for placing personal items or simply perfectly resting your elbow, a common feature on all Japanese Shinkansen trains. These also contain draw-down blinds, which also highlight the perfect window alignment with the seats. Smaller items of luggage can be stored using the overhead luggage racks just above, though if you have larger items that don't fit, you'll need to use the dedicated spaces here, which must be booked with the seat reservation, so something to bear in mind if you're not travelling light. Overall, this may not be the best Shinkansen interior I've experienced during my time in Japan, but it does the job and is more than sufficient for the route lengths these trains will be doing on a regular basis. We're now on the fastest stretch of the Tohoku Shinkansen, with the weather having perked up significantly too. Here, E5, H5 and E6 series trains reach up to 320 km per hour as they head north to Sendai and beyond, though our E8 can only do up to 300 km per hour on this section, which is still a significant improvement to the older E3 series, even if we're currently at around the same operating speed now. The E8s are also fitted with active suspension technology, so the ride quality is excellent even whilst running at high speed. If you thought the green car heavily invoked designs from the Yamagata Prefecture, wait until you see the ordinary car, or second class. Like the green car, the layout is in a 2x2 configuration with airline style seats and makes up 6 of the 7 carriages, the layout owing to the Mini-Shinkansen's narrower body. The maquette takes inspiration from the traditional colour extraction process of the safflower, the prefectural flower of Yamagata, hence the eventual fade to yellow as you reach the headrest. The legroom here is perfectly acceptable, and the seating area and features make the ordinary car generally a good option overall, but the seats themselves could be a bit better on the padding front from my perspective. There are 3 dedicated wheelchair spaces on board. One is in the green car, whilst 2 are in the ordinary cars, as can be seen here. This is also conveniently next to the wheelchair accessible toilet, which is incredibly spacious and impeccably clean as you would expect from a Japanese train. In the vestibules, you'll also find a multi-function space, which unlike my other Shinkansen journeys in Japan, wasn't occupied, so I got a chance to look inside. There are also standard toilets in the vestibules, most are mixed, though some are gendered like the urinal here. The sink is also located in the vestibules, so don't worry if you can't find it inside. As is common in Japan, this is quite cosy yet very clean, which is brilliant to see. Surprisingly, baby changing facilities have been fit in here, and there's also a coat hanger just above. One thing I almost forgot to mention is that using the QR code on the tray tables, you can check the status of the train as well as others within the JR East area using the onboard Wi-Fi, which worked pretty well. There is also an onboard food and drink service, though this is not included with the green car fare and is fairly basic, but still, you can get a snack and a drink to tide you over, especially on a warm day like today.
We will soon make a brief stop at Fukushima. Passengers changing to the Abukuma Kyuko line and the Fukushima Kotsu line for Iizaka Onsen. Please transfer at this station. Cars 1 through 10 are the Yamabiko Super Express bound for Sendai.
We now begin to slow down as we come to the end of our time on the Tohoku Shinkansen and make our last stop of the line at Fukushima, the capital of the prefecture of the same name, and known for its many onsens on the outskirts of the city and the Tohoku region's only horse racing track. Upon departure from here, we leave the E5 series behind as it continues north to Sendai, whilst we'll continue west towards the Yamagata Prefecture along the Yamagata Shinkansen. This process sadly can't be seen if you're going beyond Fukushima onto the Yamagata Shinkansen, given this is the northbound set, but we're about to see something more spectacular in just a moment. Just to the right is the continuation of the Tohoku Shinkansen north to Sendai and Aomori, whilst we'll continue onto the Yamagata Shinkansen towards the Yamagata Prefecture. Entry and exit of the Yamagata Shinkansen can currently only be done by the section of track from platform 14 at Fukushima, though in 2021 JR East began construction of a new approach from platform 11 to help reduce disruption, which should become operational in 2026. The Yamagata Shinkansen is the first of two Mini-Shinkansen lines to have been built in Japan, which involved re-gauging the previous narrow gauge tracks used by local trains to standard gauge to allow full running onto the main Shinkansen network. The loading gauge, however, remains the same as when the tracks were under narrow gauge operation, meaning the Shinkansen trains used on these lines have narrower cross sections to accommodate this. Speeds on the Mini-Shinkansen lines, including the Yamagata Shinkansen, are also restricted to 130 km per hour, or around 80 miles per hour. Yonezawa is our first stop on the line and our last stop for this Tsubasa service before Yamagata. As well as Yamagata Shinkansen services, this station also acts as the eastern terminus for the Yonesaka line, which provides links to the Niigata Prefecture, the fifth largest in Japan. After Yonezawa is where the weather brightens up and the line becomes much more scenic. The scenery here was some of the most beautiful I saw on a train during my time in Japan, and I was also disappointed at this point I couldn't continue on to Shinjo to enjoy it for a further 45 minutes. Well, our journey today is sadly coming to an end, so it's time to conclude. I would say that the E8 is more of an evolution rather than revolution compared to the E3 series, and despite some features not being to my taste compared to other Shinkansen models, this is still a very good train, and I honestly recommend travelling on the Yamagata Shinkansen if you ever make a visit to Japan. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I travelled using a Japan Rail Pass and made a free reservation online using the official website using the link below, but if you want to know the actual costs for this journey, they're as follows. 14,910 Japanese yen for the green car and 11,250 Japanese yen for the ordinary car, which is around £76.38 or £57.63 respectively, so quite pricey for 2.5 hours on a high-speed train. Anyway, believe it or not, this was actually one of the few trains I took that actually arrived on time in Japan, as we arrive at 11:46 AM to the second into Yamagata. Now you've heard from me, I want to hear from you. Have you tried the E8 Shinkansen yet? What did you think of it, and are you planning on trying Japan's newest bullet train soon? Let me know in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and share it if you did to aid the channel's growth, as well as subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more content such as this weekly. Yamagata Shinkansen services used to terminate here before being extended to Shinjo in 1999, with our E8 now continuing one stop before to Oishida due to flooding. As for me, I'm going to have a look around for a bit and grab some lunch. Thanks so much for coming with me on this trip, and I look forward to bringing you with me on my next one.